Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Jessica Callmaker. I just wanted to take a second. We have about 5 minutes before the meeting is going to start. So I just wanted to hop on here real quick and just welcome everybody to our webinar. Just want to let you know the meeting will begin at 10 a.m. So we have about 5 minutes or so to let everybody join in. Just as a note, this webinar is recorded. If you do not wish to be recorded, please turn off your webcams. Microphones are automatically muted. And then, of course, if you have any questions, please use the chat box. We do have technicians and staff available on the chat to be able to answer questions. Basically how this is going to work, we're going to go through the presentation and then at the very end we'll be able to answer questions and have a lot of time to answer questions. So just real quick, again, we'll be getting started in about 4 to 5 minutes. So everybody that's here, welcome and thank you for joining us, and we'll get right started in just a few. Everybody, it's just about 10 o'clock, so I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me okay. If so, can you guys give me a thumbs up or say something in the chat? Let us know we're good. Okay. All right, so we're just going to give it just another minute or so to make sure we have everybody that signed up. So just real quick, again, my name is Jessica Callmaker. I work in the Admissions and Records Department, and we're just gonna kind of go over some obstacles that you might encounter when registering for classes. So this meeting does start at 10. Just some quick housekeeping items. This webinar is recorded, so if you do not wish to be recorded, please turn off your webcams. Microphones are automatically muted. So if you have questions, please use the chat box. We do have some of our amazing technicians and staff members in the chat that can answer questions as we go along. So just real quick, kind of how this is going to go. We're going to go ahead and go through the presentation. If we could go ahead and save the questions for the end. The presentation shouldn't take very long. Once you get through the presentation, then we'll go ahead and open everything up to questions. Again, we have our staff in the chat box, so if there's any questions, they can also answer those questions there. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and get started here. Okay, let me go back. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and do a presentation on how to tackle any obstacles while registering for your classes. So we are on the tail end of the spring semester. We'll be getting ready to register for summer and fall. So we're going to go ahead and get forward. Again, my name is Jessica Callmaker. I am an admissions and records technician. I've been in the admissions and records department going on 4 years now. And I am here with my colleague, Robin Duff, who's also a technician in the office. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. So some of the obstacles that you may come across when registering for classes. So we have our new students that have never taken classes with us, that are interested in taking classes. We also have our concurrent high school and dual enrollment students. We're going to go over what happens if you forgot your email or you forgot your password to the Inside CC portal, how to waitlist a class, course prerequisites and what does that mean. We're also going to go over and touch on our tuition and fees, residency reclassification if you are an out-of-state student. And then we're also going to go over our veteran students and dependents if you're a veteran or a dependent of a veteran. Okay. Okay, so if we have anybody on that is a new student that has never taken classes with Saracoso or Bakersfield College or Porterville, those are our sister colleges here in our district. So this is just kind of our steps and information on if you're a new student. Our application is a 2-step process. We do have this link here, and also as well, just as a reminder too, while this is recorded, the webinar is going to be posted on the website, so you can always come back to this and refer to it if you need to. But we're just going to go ahead and, so this is our links to get to the application. The first step is to create an account with the California Community Colleges. We refer to it as CCC Apply. Once you create your account there, you'll have an account in the state system. After you finish that step, you will be assigned what we call a CCC ID number. And typically they look kind of like this, 3 letters with 4 numbers. Once you complete your application with CCC Apply, then you're going to complete the college application and then activate your college account. Again, like I said, it's a 2-step process. You'll get your logins for CCC Apply. Once you go through the application, you'll get your student ID number and student email address, which will then be able to log you into the college systems. Some of the tools that we have for our application. So the easiest way to get to the application is when you go to the Saracoso website. In the upper left-hand corner, we have this red Apply Now button. Once you click on that, that'll take you right to our application page. On the application page, we also have our admissions application instructions. This is just an image that we have to show you what the document looks like. And this will take you through the steps here on applying. It also gives you the opportunity to write down your CCC ID number, any passwords, user ID, and then once your application is complete and you receive your student ID and email address, you can also enter that on the document. This document is yours. You'll want to save it in a safe place. That way you can always refer back to it if you forget a password or you forget your security question. So that's just a tool that we offer to students during the application process. All right. Okay, so we're just going to touch on our concurrent and dual enrollment students. I'm not sure if we have any high school students that are on right now, but if you're a parent of a high school student that's interested in the concurrent or dual enrollment program, this is some really good information that you might have, or if you know somebody that's interested. So if the high school student, if you haven't applied yet to Saracoso, you're going to go ahead and follow the application process like a new student. So you'll go in and complete the CCC apply application just like a new student. Before being enrolled in a course, students will need to complete the concurrent enrollment release form and also needs to submit a copy of the high school transcript. We do have a link here that'll take you, we do have a page on the website that talks about the concurrent high school process. We also have the forms available online, as well as the student handbook, which is a phenomenal tool if you're new to the concurrent dual enrollment program. If you have questions about it, this handbook has a ton of information that is extremely useful. And just to continue that concurrent and dual enrollment form, once you have your student ID number and email address, please note that if you are a concurrent high school or dual enrollment student, you do have a hold on your account. You will not be able to add or drop yourself from classes. That is something that is done through the Admissions and Records Department. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to be sure to complete these two forms. This is our student release cover page, and it just goes over some of the requirements and the regulations for the program. The student and the parent sign. And then the next form is the student release. The step one is for the student and the parent or guardian to fill out and sign. The second portion is for your high school to complete. You should be meeting with your high school counselor to discuss what classes would be transferable back to the high school, if anything, or the conversation that you'll need to have with that person. Once these two parts are completed and signed, all the signatures are there, then you're going to want to turn these 2 pages in along with your high school transcript to our counseling department. And one of our counselors or educational advisors will be working with you on the classes that you may be approved for, what classes you might need to be placed in. They will have that conversation with you. And then the final step there, once all of the signatures are put in, these forms are then brought to the Admissions and Records Department, and one of our technicians will manually enroll the student into the classes. Okay, so what happens if you forget your email or your password? You know, life happens. As adults, we have a lot of emails and passwords and things that we have to remember. So we try to make this process as simple as we can. So what happens if you forget your student email address? You know, maybe you attended a few years ago and you're not sure what it could be. The easy thing to do is you're just going to go to this link here. And I do have a screenshot down here of what that link looks like. So if you forgot your student ID number or your email address, once you get to this screen, you'll just click on forgot user ID or email address. And what it's going to do there, it's going to prompt you to put in your last name, the last 4 of your social security number, and your birth date. Once it finds your account, it will give you your Saracoso email address. And then the process is just about the same for your Inside CC password. The link is still the same. You'll still go here to the password manager, but instead of clicking the forgot user ID or email address, you will click on forgot password and then follow the prompts. One thing that you're going to need to have is you will need to have your Saracoso email address or student ID before clicking the forgot password. So if you're not sure on either one, I would go ahead and do the forgot your email address first, and then go in and reset your password. Once you click on forgot password, the prompts are pretty much the same. You'll enter in your last name, the last four of your social security number, your date of birth, and then you'll answer your security question. And once you answer the security question, it will take you in to be able to reset your password. Now, if you get to this point and you don't remember setting up a security question, or you don't know the answer to the security question, the Admissions and Records Department can do what we call a hard reset. All we need you to do is just go ahead and contact the Admissions and Records Department. And we do have all of our contact information here in the presentation. Just go ahead and contact the Admissions and Records Department, and one of our technicians will take you through the steps on how to reset your password, and then they'll also provide you the links along with the steps on doing that. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and move into waitlisting a course. Sometime, you know, when you're registering for classes and the class that you want is full, the next step at that point is to go ahead and waitlist the class. Now, this step is going through the Inside CC, the way you would go in to register for classes if you're utilizing Inside CC. When you get to the add or drop page, and the course is waitlisted, you are going to go, you will see this error that's right here. It's going to show closed, and it'll show the number, and it's going to show waitlisted. And here's just an example class that we have. Just noting here the errors that you may see. When you are ready to register or to waitlist for this class, all you're going to do is on this action item, you're going to click on the action item. It's going to show none at first, but when you click on the drop down, it'll show the option to waitlist. And once you hit that waitlist, then you're going to go ahead and submit changes to make sure that your name is added to that waitlist. So once you select the waitlist in the drop down menu, you'll submit changes. And at the very last step, after you hit submit changes, the screen will refresh, and as you scroll down, you'll see your course schedule there. You'll see the courses that you're registered for. You'll also see the course that you're waitlisted for, and it will show you what number you are on the waitlist. So if you're waitlist number 2, if you're waitlist number 3, so on and so forth. Now, before you navigate away from that screen, the final step is to click that blue complete registration button to complete the process. So you'll want to just remember to hit submit changes first, review your schedule, then click complete registration. Now, just as a quick note, so if you are waitlisted for a class, if you are moved off of the waitlist and into the class, so if a couple students drop from the course, our waitlisted students get moved in, you are notified via email if you are moved off the waitlist and into the class. So it is extremely important that you check your Saracoso emails often. We suggest checking it at least once a day, just because we want to make sure that you are made aware that you are officially in the class if you're moved off the waitlist and into the class. That way you have plenty of time to get your books and materials, and just make sure that you are aware of everything that's been going on. Okay, so course prerequisites. So a lot of questions that we get is, you know, what is a prerequisite? Why does this class have a prerequisite? So just real quick, a prerequisite is a course or courses, skills, or a body of knowledge that you should possess prior to enrolling in a specific course or program. Typically, you would need to take the prerequisite course before taking this said class. One of the most common ones that we see is taking, you know, if you're interested in the psychology program and you're wanting to take psychology, say 271, you will need to take Psychology 101, which is Introduction to Psychology. You'll need to take that class before you can take Psych 271. So the prerequisite courses are courses that will ensure that you have the knowledge and the skills that you're going to need in order to move on further into the program. Some students too, like our statistics class, students can take Math 55 or Math 53 before taking statistics. It's just a prep class that can assist you and make sure that you're successful in the courses. Now, if it is a Saracoso course that you're looking at and you've taken the prerequisite at Saracoso, you shouldn't need to do anything special as long as you've passed the prerequisite course with a C or better. The system should allow you to go ahead and register for the class. If you encounter issues, if you get a prerequisite and test score error, you'll want to be sure to reach out to your counselor, to your educational advisor. That way we can review your account and see if there's something that we need to assist with. Now, if you have taken the prerequisite course at another college, what we would ask students is to go ahead and submit a copy of your transcripts to the counseling department, and then the counselor that you work with or your educational advisor can work with you on that. They can review and evaluate the transcripts, verify that you met the prerequisite course, and then they will, if approved, then they'll go ahead and place the appropriate overrides, which will allow you to register for the classes. So one thing that we just want to note too, that if you've taken the class at another college, be sure to get us your transcripts. That way we can go ahead and review and properly evaluate. Please allow some time for us to do that. Again, our counselors want to sit down and make sure that the prerequisite course has been met. So what I would suggest is if you have a course that you're interested in that has a prerequisite, you think you've taken it at another college, be sure to go ahead and get us those transcripts as quickly as possible and make an appointment with the counseling department. Okay, so our tuition and fees. So some of the questions that we see in regards to tuition and fees. So our tuition for our in-state students is $46 per unit. So if you take a 3-unit class, the cost of the enrollment fees for that class, would be $138. There is, we do have a student representation fee that is $2 that is assessed to all students each semester. If you are attending a welding or an art course, you may have some additional material fees that range from $10 up to $90, just depending on your courses. Typically our art classes like Art 101 or 121 will have a $10 art fee, and this is just to help go towards the materials that are used in the classes. Now, if you are a health career student, if you're planning on taking the EMT classes, you may have some additional costs if you need to purchase scrubs or the shirts, materials, and that's something that as you are being enrolled in the courses, your instructor will make you aware of. So when is payment due for the courses? Payment is due within 10 days of registration. Now, if you are an out-of-state student, this is where things get a little tricky with an out-of-state student. So if you have not lived in the state of California for greater than a year and a day prior to the start of the term, you may be charged out-of-state fees. Our out-of-state tuition is currently $283 per unit, in addition to the $46 per unit. So this totals to about $329 per unit. And also our out-of-state students are only able to register in a maximum of 15 units. That way, so just want to make that note in case, if you're an athlete or if you're wanting to take more than that, just know that if you are an out-of-state student, you will be maxed at 15 units. Okay, so if you've registered for classes, you're ready to make your payment, or you needed to wait a couple of days and come back in and make a payment, the best way to make your payment is online, especially right now as many of us are working from home, the campus isn't open. So the easiest thing to do is once you get logged into your Inside CC account, in the black banner that's up at the top, you're going to go ahead and click on My Bandwidth, and down at the bottom there's a link there for Pay for Classes. Once you click that link, it'll take you right through the online payment portion. If you need to make a partial payment, so say your bill is $500 and you wanted to pay $250 now and say $250 in a couple weeks, you can certainly adjust or modify the amount that you wish to pay. When you get to that link, it's going to automatically populate with your total balance, but you can just go in and edit the amount that you want to pay and then go ahead and follow the prompts to complete the online payment. Once you complete the online payment, you are emailed a receipt, and it also gives you the opportunity, once the transaction is completed, to print your page just for your records so you can keep track of your payments that are being made. And then, of course, if you want some information or you're interested in applying for financial aid, we have also included the financial aid office information down below. Our amazing technicians in the financial aid office can assist you with the application. The Fafsa application is online. We also have a lot of information on the Saracosa website in regards to financial aid. The California Promise fee waiver. There's also the Promise scholarship. We also have information about all of our foundation scholarships. So if you're interested in getting some information on some additional resources to help pay for classes, to help cover the cost of your books and materials, definitely contact our financial aid office, and they can sit down and work with you to see how we can best serve you. Okay, so we just wanted to touch on residency. So if we have any students that are on, that are being flagged as an out-of-state student, or maybe that you haven't lived here for greater than a year and a day, or maybe you've just reached that 1 year and a day threshold. So we just wanted to touch on real quick about residency reclassification, just to provide some information in the steps that we'll need to take to get you reclassified. Now, if you are an active duty military member that is stationed in California, please contact our office. All we'll need is just a copy of your orders that state that you are stationed in California. If you are a dependent of an active duty military member and you're residing in California, again, please contact our office. We'll ask for a copy of the orders and any supporting dependent documentation. So if you are not a military member or a dependent and that doesn't pertain to you. So basically, if you have not lived in California for 366 days prior to the start of the semester, and you haven't established the intent to stay in California, you will be charged the out-of-state tuition rate. If you have been here greater than a year and a day, you have started the intent process, then we can go ahead and work with you on how we can reclassify your residency. So to reclassify your residency, we break it up into two parts, and actually this is the state of California regulation here. We have to establish physical presence in California, so living here physically in the state of California for greater than 1 year and a day prior to the start of the term. If you were a student and say you left California to attend another institution, but you never claimed residency in that other state, and you end up moving back to California, we'll have information and documentation that will need to be provided to demonstrate that. So that's just, again, so our physical presence, so physically being in the state of California. We also have our intent. So along with the physical presence in California, you'll also have to show that you intend to make California your home, you intend to become a California resident. So we do have our residency reclassification packet that can be emailed to you. It is on the website. It also provides a list of documents that are approved for us to accept to review your residency reclassification. One of the easiest things to do to reclassify your residency, if you have a California driver's license or state ID that's greater than a year and a day, along with taxes, California state taxes. Those are two excellent tools that we can use to help reclassify your residency. And also, once your residency is reclassified, then your tuition payments are adjusted. If you don't file taxes or haven't filed taxes in the state of California, we do have other documentation that is acceptable. Some examples we do have here, such as California motor vehicle registration, registering to vote in the state of California. You can actually verify your voter registration status online. Taxes and a rental agreement, house payment, utility bills. Again, the easiest thing to do is to go ahead and get the residency reclassification packet. You can always email our office and one of our technicians will happily send that to you. There is a list of documents that are available on there. You'll just want to go through the packet and go through the list of documents to make sure that everything is submitted all together in one packet. So you'll just go ahead and submit your completed packet online through email. If you're submitting any documentation that has your social security number on it, please black it out, white it out, that just for added security. So this is just kind of a quick wrap up on how to change your residency or how to reclassify your residency. So we do have our residency reclassification form. We also have provided our links here and along with some hints on where the form is located. And then we also have our email address that's down here at the bottom. Please, if you are an out-of-state student or you're reclassifying your residency and you're going to go through the packet, please complete the packet as much as you can. Submit all of your supporting documentation with the packet, preferably in one email. That way we can just make sure the packet stays together, it's reviewed together. We have all the supporting documentation. That way, and then two, if the technician has any questions, we can reach out to you specifically and ask our specific questions. All right. And one of our last things here is we're just going to talk briefly about our veteran services. So if you have any students on that are veterans or dependents of veterans, we're just going to kind of briefly touch on some of the services that we offer. So we do work with the Department of Veterans Affairs in regards to the GI Bill. We currently have students that are certified for Chapter 30, the Montgomery GI Bill, Chapter 31, which is the vocational rehabilitation, Chapter 33, which is the post 9/11, and the Chapter 35, which is the Dependents GI Bill. If you are a dependent of a veteran, you also have, and if you are a California state resident, you also have the CalVet fee waiver that is available to you. The fee waiver is applied for through the county, and then once the county approves your application, the approval letters are sent to you and to the college, and we will post the fee waiver onto your account. If you have questions or need specific steps or not sure who to contact, I have also included the veterans email on this slide. Please take note of it and send an email to that email, and we are happy to provide any steps, questions, answers that you might have. Also, if you're a dependent and meet the qualifications for the GI Bill, you're going to want to go ahead and apply for that GI Bill through the VA directly. They have an online application that takes about 15 to 20 minutes, but you'll want to make sure that you meet the qualifications for that chapter. It's very, very specific. So if you meet the qualifications for that chapter, you'll want to go ahead and apply for it through the VA's website. And also, if you have questions about it, not sure how to get started, not sure where to apply, just go ahead and send us an email and we can go ahead and get that taken care of for you and provide you the steps and the links and everything that you might need to apply. Now, if you are a student that is using the GI Bill, or if you're a returning student that's using the GI Bill, I've just included some of our checklist things here. So if you are a new student, you'll want to be sure to complete your Saracoso application. You'll want to complete your GI Bill application online. If you want to apply for financial aid, we ask you can go ahead and apply for your FAFSA.
If you've attended another college, you'll want to be sure to send your transcripts to Saracoso. We do have an orientation that is available online that you can actually complete your orientation. And then you'll want to be sure to log into Inside CC, which is our student portal. We also utilize an amazing tool called Navigate. And Navigate is an excellent tool. You can register for your classes there. You can communicate with your counselor, create study buddy groups. Navigate is an excellent tool to use. Once you do that, you're going to go ahead and meet with your counselor or your educational advisor, and you're going to go ahead and complete your VAPA form. Once the VAPA form is completed, you'll register for your classes. If you have any additional fees that you need to pay that the GI Bill is not covering, you'll want to go ahead and take that, and then of course attend your classes. Once the counselor completes that VAPA form, then they send it to the school certifying official, and then the school certifying official will certify everything with the VA. Now, if you're a returning student, your list isn't as extensive as you should have already completed your applications. So before you register for classes, you're going to need to complete your update form, meet with your counselor, educational advisor, complete the VAPA form, check your financial aid status if you are receiving financial aid, or if you're receiving the fee waiver. You'll want to definitely check and make sure, if they don't need anything, any supporting documentation, or just, it's always good to double check and make sure that everything's ready to go. Then of course you'll go ahead and register for your classes, pay your fees, and then attend your classes. So that's just a quick rundown for our GI Bill students. I'm going to go ahead and leave this here for a little while. This is all of our contact information. Included our contact information for our admissions and records department, our counseling department, financial aid, veteran services, as well as our access office. So let's go ahead and leave this here. And thank you for sitting here through our presentation. If there are questions, please feel free to use the chat box, and we will start taking questions. Okay, so we'll take the question from Tim. Is there an appeal for more units beyond 15 for out-of-state students? And Robin did beat me to that one. Yes, there is an appeal. They can appeal to take those units. They'll just need to contact the admissions and records department, and we can go ahead and get them started on that. Yes, and Alfonso is currently on the chat. Alfonso is our veteran educational advisor that's in the counseling department. So he is very, very fluent in the GI Bill processes. He knows how the chapters work. So if you are a new student or returning student that doesn't have a counselor or has questions about the GI Bill and how to get that taken care of and how it's going to work academically, Alfonso can answer those questions for you. You can just make an appointment. And he can go ahead and get that taken care of, complete the forms, whatever is necessary. Yes, thank you, Lester, for mentioning that. One of our things too is you'll want to keep in mind that the information that we have, any student information that we have for you, say if your phone number changes, your address changes, you have a new personal email that you'd like to update, you are welcome to update your information through the Inside CC account. That way we just have the most current and recent up-to-date information for you. So if we have any questions, we have the most current phone number. It's actually very easy. Once you log into Inside CC, under My Bandwidth, there's actually a link there for update personal information, and you can update your phone number, address, personal email address, things along those lines. Let's see me go up here. Okay, so Tim asked about our graduating high school seniors. If they are or were concurrent or dual enrollment, do they need to reapply or just complete the student update forms to become a full-time college student? And what's the process for the student population? So if anybody on is a graduating high school senior and you already have a student ID number, you've taken classes with us, you do not need to reapply. Basically, you'll go into your account. You will definitely need to make sure that you do your update form. You'll do your update form for either summer or fall or both. Make sure to go through the questions carefully and indicate when you've graduated or when you will be graduating, because that is extremely important. One of the best things too is once you complete your update form, be sure to contact the admissions and records department so we can also take a look at your account, make sure if there's any holds on the account that we can go ahead and release any of the holds. Again, and make sure you're talking to your counselor. Your counselors will sit down with you, figure out your long-term ed plans, make sure your classes, you're on track for certain classes and registration. Now, if, for example, if you do complete another application, once you complete that application, it may be flagged for manual review, in which case we'll just have to merge the two applications together. Okay. Yes, and Robin did point out for any account updates, if you recently underwent a name change, or you noticed your birthday is wrong, or maybe your social security number is wrong in the system, please contact the admissions and records department. We do have the ability to make corrections if we need to. We do have a form that you'll fill out and we'll just ask for the appropriate supporting documentation. So if that category falls to you, please let us know and we will be sure to get that fixed. Okay, and thank you, Robin, for responding to Carrie. So Carrie asked a great question. So after getting your school ID, do you start picking classes or do you need to see a counselor first? It is recommended that you see a counselor first. That way we can just make sure that we can get your long-term ed plan or an abbreviated student ed plan done for you to help you map out at least your first couple semesters and tell you, and let you know which classes are still available, what classes you should register for, and make sure you're in the right placement. Our counselors are amazing in making sure that you are set and ready to go. That way, too, you're not wasting your time taking classes you don't need or anything along those lines. So it is recommended that you see a counselor first before registering for classes. It's not something that we hold you to if you don't see a counselor at first, but that's just something that we very highly recommend, seeing a counselor first. Okay. So I think that's, does anybody else have other questions? Just want to make sure that everybody is squared away here. Okay, Carrie, great question. So Carrie asked if we can make the appointment online for the counselor. The best way to make the appointment is actually to call the counseling department. We do have their number over here. It's and actually I just noticed the counseling department phone number is wrong on my slide. The best number to call for counseling is 760-384-6219. And if you call that number, one of our staff members can get you set up with an appointment with the counselor. The counselor will meet with you either over the phone or they can also set up a Zoom meeting to meet with you via Zoom since we're working remotely.
And I think too, while we still have some time, we actually still have some time for questions. If anybody would like us to actually go through the Inside CC, I can actually pull up an Inside CC account and show you, kind of give a tutorial on where everything is at. If students have questions on how to register or how to do an update form, or if there's other questions, we are available until 11:30. So please don't be shy if you have any questions. Okay, I think I'm just gonna hop over here really quick. And okay. Okay. So I just wanted to hop over. Hopefully my screen is still being shared. I hopped over to the Saracosa website real quick so we can kind of go through a brief little tutorial or a map on how our website works. Okay, so if you have already signed up for classes online, how do you know that you got in that class? That is an excellent question, and I can actually kind of go through that real quick. Now, when I log in, so I am not currently registered for classes, but I can show you where you can see all of that. Let me get back to the website here. Come on. Bear with me just a second. Zoom is wanting to. Okay. All right. Can everybody see the Saracosa webpage now? Perfect. Okay, so just as a real quick tutorial, just to kind of help navigate the website. So when you get to the website here, so you'll see our links here. Here's that fancy apply now button. So if you're a new student and you're ready to apply, once you click that button, that's actually going to take you to our application page. We actually hosted a virtual workshop at the end of March. You are able to watch that video. It's actually a step-by-step through the application. You can actually sit down and watch as we went through the application. We also have this handy-dandy video here that also walks you through the steps for the application. And also it provides instructions on how to do the update form. Here's the admissions application instructions, and also some frequently asked questions. And once you're ready to apply, this is the fancy button that will actually direct you and redirect you to the CCC Apply application, and will take you through the steps there. Okay, and so once you go back to the website, we also have our admissions and records. So if you are a new student, if you're a military veteran, if you're an athlete, current high school student, if you're an international student, or if you're a student that is undocumented or a dreamer, we also have information here. And of course, all of our financial aid information is right below that. Our financial aid webpage has a lot of amazing information on the financial aid application, your eligibility requirements for the Pell Grant. If you're interested in the California College Promise Grant, this was formerly known as the Board of Governors fee waiver. This particular Promise Grant is actually a fee waiver that will waive your enrollment fees. We also have information on the Saracosa Promise. Not to be confused with the Promise Grant, but the Saracosa Promise is actually an application for a scholarship
And we also have some of our eligibility and requirements for that particular scholarship. Deadline for the applications is July 1st. And also if you have any questions about it, what are your qualifications? There is a new student checklist of frequently asked questions. And we also have some information if there's anybody that lives in the Inyo or Mono counties. There's an Inyo promise and a Mono promise. And if you have any questions too, we have some of our contact information. Mr. Santiago is in our financial aid department. Ms. Thompson's in counseling. And then we have Mrs. Bachman here in outreach services. You are welcome to contact them at any point in time if you have any questions about the promise. There's also some videos and a link to the application as well as some brochures. If you are curious about our other scholarship opportunities, right here on the left-hand side, we have some of these links here. If you just click on our scholarship opportunities, this will take you to our scholarship page. With our foundation scholarships, there is one application that you can apply. You complete the application online and it actually submits your application to multiple scholarships based off of your criteria. So it's a fantastic tool. We also list some other outside scholarships that are not foundation or they're not an actual Saracoso scholarship, but these are some of the outside scholarships that you can apply for. So that's just our financial aid page. If you're interested in going straight to scholarships or the Saracoso Promise under admissions and records, we also have the links there for Saracoso Promise and scholarships there. And then also we have our schedule of classes, some of our important dates. This is important too. If you're registering for classes and you need to know, what's the last date to drop with the refund, what's the last date to drop a class without a penalty. Some of our important dates that you'll definitely want to keep in mind when you're registering for classes. We also have our tuition and fees, our link to our orientation, the college placement. And then of course too, if you're ever needing to request an official transcript under admissions and records, we do have this fancy button here that will take you to requesting transcripts. Under programs and classes is where you're going to find the schedule of classes, our academic calendar, important dates. We also have a list of our majors. Our college catalog is available online. If you're interested in the honors program or community education, we have that available as well. And some of our important things here, we also have links here on how to access your online classes if you're taking online. It provides steps on how to log in, your responsibility, if there's any technical support. For that, we also have a step-by-step guide on how to register for classes. And we also hosted a virtual workshop at the beginning of April that actually goes through the steps on how to register for classes. And they actually go through it through Insight CC as well as Navigate. So if you're interested in using Navigate and registering for classes through Navigate, you can certainly watch this video. It'll take you right through the steps and go through some of our frequently asked questions. If you're looking for just some quick instructions, we do have it available on this page, and it just goes through step by step on how to register for your classes. We also have a link here on how to drop a class. You'll want to be sure, if there's a class that you registered for, maybe it was registered for by mistake, or you just decided, I'm just going to hold off on this one and wait for another term. This is just some quick instructions on how to drop the class. One thing is very, very important, and you'll want to just make note too that students are responsible for officially withdrawing from any course or courses that they don't want to be enrolled in. So you'll just want to make sure that, you are taking responsibility and dropping the class. If you stay in the class and assume the instructor is going to just drop you after the first date, that's not a really wise move to do. So you'll want to make sure that if you know for sure you're going to be dropping the class, make sure you go online and do that. It'll save you a lot of heartache in the end. And then of course too, our waitlisting. We do have some quick instructions on the waitlist. Again, like I said, this recording is going to be put up as well, so you can always refer back to it. If you're just looking for some quick instructions, this, again, you'll just go into programs and classes, and you'll head down to waitlist, and this will actually provide the steps here on waitlisting for your classes. And then under our student services, if you're interested in learning some more about Navigate or our counseling program, Access, Military and Veterans Services Center, if you're interested in the UMOJA, or you're looking for tutoring or proctored exams, we have all of these links here, along with some of our student life information, student government, if you're looking for a student club or an organization. We also have our podcast that's available, as well as if you're looking into the Child Development Center, if you're needing child development services, GED information, Transfer Center. You can find all of this information under Student Services. And then if you're interested in learning more about Saracoso, we do have our About CCCC. This information goes over some of our about information if you're looking for accreditation information. We also go in discussing all of our sites. So some of you may not be aware. So our Ridgecrest or IWV campus, that's actually our main campus. That is for Saracoso. We also have campuses in Tehachapi, Mammoth Lakes, Bishop, Lake Isabella, the Kern River Valley. We also have an office at Edwards Air Force Base and in Mojave, and then of course all of our online information. So we are spread out quite a bit, but we do have amazing staff at all of our sites that are ready to help. So if you are located near one of our sites, and when we come back to the offices, if you have questions and the offices open back up, you are certainly welcome to visit our campuses. So I just want to take a second and see if there's any questions. Does anybody have any questions about anything so far? Okay, and yes, Pedro, thank you for making that notation. The Board of Governors or the California College Promise Grant can also be applied for through the FAFSA. So it is suggested that if you are going to be, if you're interested in applying for financial aid or for the fee waiver, it is suggested that you apply through FAFSA. If you're a state resident, it will apply for it, the fee waiver application as well. It'll all be done through the FAFSA. Okay, so I'm not seeing any other questions at this point in time. So when you're ready to log in, if you're a new student or you're getting ready to log into Inside CC, you land on our Saracoso page. So right next to our Apply Now button, we do have our Inside CC, and this is how you will access your student account. You're going to put in your Saracoso student email address here, and then you'll put in your password. Again, if you don't remember your password, you can just click on our Forgot Password links, and it will take you right to our password manager. And if you do, let me just go ahead and all right. So this is what our the Inside CC student portal looks like. So just real quick, you'll see, well, your name will be here. We'll have My Bandwidth. We have our tools. In this page, you can actually access your Navigate from this link here. If you have applied for financial aid, if you've received financial aid, you will have a financial aid tab here, and then you'll have the links to your student email. Okay, so Carrie asked a question: should we start applying for FAFSA now or after I meet with the counselor? It is suggested to go ahead and apply for FAFSA now. Once you complete your application, it does take some time for that application to actually come to Saracoso and for a technician to review it. So I would certainly suggest completing that application now. And then if you need assistance with the application, you can also contact the financial aid department, and one of the technicians there can assist you. If you are looking into a summer class, you'll want to be sure to apply for the 2019-2020. For summer aid, if you're looking into applying for fall, you'll want to do the 2020-2021 application, which is now available. And Pedro did note that in the chat, so thank you. So definitely reach out to the financial aid department if you have questions. If you need assistance with the application, they can certainly assist you. All right. So inside CC, so again, you have your access to your email here. If you prefer to receive notifications of your email on your mobile device or a tablet, we do utilize like Google server or like a Gmail. So you can actually add an account if you have a Gmail already. You can actually add your student email in as well, and you have easier access to your student emails. If not, when you log into Inside CC, you'll just click this link here, and you'll just want to make sure that you are checking your emails regularly. Again, we suggest checking at least once a day. That way you're not missing any information that's coming out. If your counselor or an instructor is trying to get a hold of you, you'll want to be sure to make sure you check that. Again, if you are using financial aid or if you've applied for financial aid and want to know about your eligibility status, what you've been awarded, if there's any documentation or verification documentations that are needed, you'll want to be sure to click on the financial aid tab here. Once you're ready to go, before I go into my BandWeb, one thing that you'll see here under our logo, we do have all of our student resources that are available to you. So if you have questions, you want to take a look at the schedule of classes while you're inside CC, you have access to all of that here. So that way you don't have to go back out to go into another link. We also have some of our news around the campus. We also have our list of important dates that are here. So right now we currently have some of our dates up for spring, when final exams, any upcoming events. So right now we have our open house. There's also a webinar going on today for the HBCUs. And then you can also look down here for just some information that's been delivered to students. Okay. So under My BandWeb, this is kind of one of our super important links from the Inside CC. Under My BandWeb, you get into Inside CC. If you decide that you wanted to change your password, you can do that here. If you need to update your mailing or residence addresses, you can do that here. Updating your contact information, such as your phone number. You can also update your personal email address. Or if you just want to view that information, you can do all of that here. If you want to look at, if you've attended classes with us before and you want to take a look at your grades, you can check that here. If you want to view your unofficial transcripts, you can actually view your unofficial transcripts here. That way, it's always a good idea to review your transcripts to make sure that all of your information is correct, and also just to kind of keep an eye out on your grades. And it's always good to be aware and be in the know about your grades and student account. And then this is, again, here, so here's that pay for classes link. So if you registered for classes and you need to make a payment, you can actually click here and it'll take you right through. If you need to complete an update form, once you click that update form, it'll actually take you right through. It'll have your information there. And some of the questions that we had, and something that we just want to touch bases on real quick. Okay, so Tim had an excellent question. Do you recommend students complete the update form for each semester? And that answer is yes, definitely. Before you register for classes, and you haven't done an update form, the system will stop you. So the update form is mandatory to complete at the beginning of every term before you register for classes. And it's, it is important to go through because we want to make sure that the contact information that we have for you is current and up to date. We want to make sure that any residency or high school information is up to date. So yes, definitely the update form does need to be done before registration. It's always just a good idea. That way too, again, if you're a graduating high school senior, you can make sure that you have all of your high school information, completion information, all of that's in there, and ready to rock and roll. Now, when you're ready to add a class, or if you're looking into checking your registration status, we'll actually go ahead and we'll do our registration status first. When you get in here, you're going to see our drop-down menu, and it's going to show you, what current terms you can look at. So I'm just going to go ahead and select Fall 2020, and then you'll just hit Submit. And now on our registration status, you're going to see here, it's going to say that you can register during the following times. So for me specifically, it says I can register from April 15th at 5 p.m. all the way up until December 12th, 2020. Now, one thing that you'll want to note, you definitely want to register for your classes as early as possible to make sure you secure your spot in the class. You actually can register for classes up until the first day. It's not recommended. It is not recommended. Again, you want to register as early as possible, but we know for some that may not be the situation. So here it'll tell you when you've got your dates. Now, if you have not completed your update form for the summer or for the fall term, you won't see this. It's going to tell you you need to complete an update form first. Once you complete that update form and come back to check your registration status, then it will be updated. If you have any holds on your account, you will see a hold. If you are a returning student or a continuing student and maybe you're on probation or academic disqualification, you will see that here. These green check marks will not be green check marks. They will be more like warnings. So that way you can take a look and say, oh no, I have a hold on my account. You can see what that hold is. If it's a concurrent enrollment hold, it'll state, contact the admissions and records department. If you're on probation or academic disqualification, you'll need to contact the counseling department. So this part will tell you if there's a problem. And then if you have any overrides, or say you have a prerequisite or test score error override, that can be shown here. If you don't have that, then this won't be here. So if it's not there, great. If it is, then you'll see it here. And then you'll see what this one is called under matriculation information. This is just stating, if you've completed your assessment, you've met with counseling, you've got your long-term ed plan completed, you've completed your orientation. So it's always good to have these little check marks here. Again, it's not mandatory that all of these check marks be done before the start of your first term. It is recommended. And again, most of these can actually be handled in your counseling appointment. The orientation is done online. So we try to make it as quick and painless as possible here. And then of course, if you have any credits, then you'll put your credits will show here. Now, when you're ready to register for classes, or if you want to see your schedule to see what you've been registered for, from here, you can actually click on the Student tab. You can go to Registration. If you're looking to add or drop classes, you may be asked to verify your mailing address. If you're looking to see if you've already registered for classes and you want to see what your schedule is, you can actually go down to Schedule/Bill. So like I said, I'm not currently registered in classes, but if you were, once you click on Schedule/Bill, you will have a link of classes here, and it will also tell you if you have a balance that's due. You'll see a balance, or you can actually click on View Account Detail, and it'll tell you if there's any outstanding charges, if there's registration fees, or anything along those lines. Now, if you're coming in through the Inside CC account, let's go back here. Now, if you're on the Inside CC and want to check your classes to see what you're registered for, you can just go ahead and click on My Bandwidth. And then you can actually go down to class schedule. So it's going to ask you which term. If you're registered for summer, you'll go ahead and select summer and hit submit. If you're registered for fall, you'll go ahead and select fall and hit submit. And then it'll just take you right back here. So again, I'm not currently registered, so I don't have any classes, but if you are, you will see classes here. If you registered for classes and you're not seeing a specific class, you know, maybe when you went in to register, you hit the blue complete registration button instead of the submit changes, you can actually go back to your add drop page, go through and make sure, try to re-add the class and see if there's any errors that popped up. You know, maybe the class is waitlisted or there's a prerequisite or test score error, anything along those lines. If there's any errors, be sure to contact either the counseling department or admissions and records. And we can certainly take a look at your account, see what's going on, and also walk you through on what we need to do. Okay, so Ashley had a great question. Our class is going to be changing because of COVID-19. At this point in time, our summer classes are currently being offered online. So they will be online only. Let me go ahead and pull up our schedule of classes page here. So one thing too, if there's any information about classes or anything along those lines, you guys can always check here. And we do try to update this information here. So again, for summer, due to the COVID-19 at this point in time, all of our classes will be offered online only. So there's no on-ground classes for summer. For fall, we are just waiting to see how things go, but you'll want to, if you have classes that you need to register for fall, we do suggest go ahead and register for these classes. We do have both on-ground and online classes available on the schedule. So you'll just want to go ahead and we'll pull up our schedule here. So you'll definitely want to go ahead and register for the classes that you need. If there are any schedule changes due to the ongoing developments, then the institution will be sure to communicate that as well to the public and to the students. So if you register for an on-ground class and then it ends up needing to be changed to an online, students will be notified of that. Okay, so that's just taking a quick look at that's our fall schedule. Again, you can access fall and summer schedules here. Okay, does anybody have any questions? I know we had some questions about checking registration status, checking to see if you're registered for courses. Does anybody have any other questions that we can help with? Let's see, is this the first time there's been this virtual event? Yes, due to all the changing environments surrounding the COVID-19, Saracoso has done an amazing job on moving all of our on-ground events into a virtual capacity. So this is our first online virtual open house. So if things are broken up into different schedules. So let me go ahead and actually, for anybody that has questions about our virtual open house, so currently right now we do have our different sessions. So we're currently in our admission session right now. If you're interested in a counseling session, we do have some of our counselors and ed advisors available this afternoon. If you have questions for a counselor, and they're going to be discussing some college readiness. And then tomorrow we also have some more webinars coming in: counseling and career center, concurrent and dual enrollment, and also some information about if you're a graduating high school senior, some information that you might need to have. And then on Wednesday, we are hosting sessions surrounding financial aid, the promise, and our library services. Our counseling and access programs will also be presenting Wednesday as well. Thursday, we'll have another session with counseling and access, and then we'll also have our athletics and counseling session Thursday afternoon, and then we'll have another dual and concurrent enrollment session. And then Friday, they will be doing quick 15-minute drop-in appointments. So you can contact one of our campuses here. We have our main campus, our Tehachapi campus, our Kern River Valley, or Lake Isabella. You can contact them here and you can set up a drop-in appointment. And then just note, if anybody is around our Bishop or Mammoth Lakes campus, they are closed on Fridays, but they are taking appointments Monday through Thursday. And you can actually call those numbers there. So we have a lot of fantastic events coming up. Normally our open house is on campus. So usually we have a big event and all of our departments are displayed and you can actually go through each department. So this is the first time that we've done this virtually. So you have any questions, you know, we're trying to offer as many sessions and during different times of the day as we can. So definitely if you're interested in more, you'll want to go ahead and register for specific sessions. Okay. So we still have about 20 minutes. So I'm going to actually go ahead and turn it over to some of my colleagues that are in the chat or in the session. If you guys wanted to mention anything, please feel free. And I can unmute you guys. Just let me know. Or if there's any students that are on, if you guys have any
I wanted to add just a little fact that's been occurring ever since we started telecommuting. It looks like our systems aren't as quick as they used to, and as a result, there is a lag currently when the California Promise Grant, also formerly known as the BOG, is applied. It can sometimes take up to 48 hours before the fee is actually waived for students. So I know a lot of students have been contacting both the admissions and records department and financial aid, not worrying, not sure what to do about the fee, and because they're under the idea that they're getting the fee waiver. Again, the fee waiver is lagging currently. We're trying to work on that, but again, it could lag up to 48 hours.
Yes, thank you, Pedro. For those that were asking, that is Pedro Santiago. He is a financial aid technician, so he is on the call. Thank you, Pedro, for that. That way, too, again, students, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact the admissions office, financial aid, counseling, but also please be patient with us. As Pedro said, the systems are running a little bit slower as we're all telecommuting. Okay. So at this point in time, like I said, we have a little over 15 minutes left. If anybody has any questions, or if there's something on the website that you're not sure of, or inside CC that you're not sure or have questions, please take this time to put your question in the chat box. If there's any staff members that wanted to hop on and do a shout out or a plug for their department, please feel free to do that. Okay, so Ashley had a question on how do we get a college ID. Now, Ashley, I'm going to ask a follow-up question. Are you referring to the student ID number, or are you referring to the physical student ID card? Okay, so the physical ID card. That is an excellent question. The ID cards are actually handled through our student activities or outreach department. Actually, I believe Kim and Katie are on the chat. They can actually go into how they are handling the ID cards right now, especially since we're not on campus.
You just have to send an image of yourself to idcards@saracoso.edu. I check that email and I go into the office once a week. I'll print up the cards, and in that email you need to include your student ID number and your current mailing address, and then I'll mail the ID card to you.
Thank you so much, Kim. You said, Kim, it was idcards@saracoso.edu?
Yeah, I'll type it into the chat box so everyone can see.
Perfect. Thank you so very much.
No
Okay. Alrighty. Does anybody have any other questions? I will still be on for anybody that, you know, if you had to go and come back, I'll still be here. Okay, so Tim had a question. Will students getting financial aid be dropped for non-payment after the allotted 10 days to pay? So typically, Tim, what we do, so the admissions and records office and the financial aid office works very, very closely with each other. If a student is a financial aid student, and their application is currently processing, or we're waiting for the fee waiver to be applied, or if the technicians are currently waiting for additional documentations, we can work with the financial aid department to work around the drop for after the 10 days. So one thing that we suggest with the students, be sure to communicate with financial aid, make sure that you are responding to the emails to the technicians. If they need documentation, be sure to let them know, and then also let them know that you are coming up on your 10 days. That way they can work with admissions and records to see about securing the registration until we get everything figured out for financial aid. If you also, if you're a military student that's using tuition assistance and you're waiting for your authorization forms to come in, be sure to let us know. If you are waiting for GI Bill to kick in, or the CalVet fee waiver, anything along those lines, the biggest thing that we ask right now is communicate. Communicate with your technicians, communicate with the departments. That way we can do what we can to best serve you. Thank you, Tim. That was an excellent question. And thank you, Kim, for including the ID card information. As students, the ID cards, they are fantastic. It's just a really nice thing to really help solidify, your Saracoso student account, and put a nice picture on there. It's great, and we do appreciate our Kim and Katie in that office and getting those sent out. Okay, so Ashley asked, can we still go to the campus if we need help or want to meet with a counselor? At this point in time, it is best to contact the certain departments either by email or by phone. If there is a counselor or a department that is on campus, then they can set something up with you. At this point in time, most staff are working away from the campus, but I would highly suggest calling and talking to someone or emailing them before driving up to any of the campuses. Okay, so we have a question here. I was told by the Isabella campus that do not do student ID anymore. I paid for one last year and did not get it. Okay, so in regards to the student ID cards, the actual cards themselves are free. Typically, when you register for classes, you are asked, before you view your schedule, you are asked if you want to purchase an ASB card. The ASB card is an optional $8 charge that's on the account. So if that's something that maybe, students clicked yes, so then you would then be charged the $8. If that was done in error, then all you'll need to do is you can actually contact the admissions office and we can direct you to the appropriate channels, or you can also contact Kim at the outreach office and we can work on getting those charges removed. Yeah, if you didn't get the sticker or anything, we can verify that and we can work with the appropriate departments to get that taken care of. Yes, thank you, Kim. Kim provided her information in the chat. So if you do have questions about the ASB card, or like, said, if you clicked yes on it in error and would like to have that charge removed, just send Kim an email and I'll make sure you'll just include all of your student information, student ID number, name, so we can make sure we can look into that. And then someone asked, what does the ASB card provide? And that is an excellent question. So we do have information on the website. And one of the things here that I like to point out too, if there's something on the website that you're, if you're going through the tabs and you're not seeing it, you can also use the search box up here in the upper right hand corner. This tool is great if you're looking for if you're looking for something in specific and you don't want to search through everything. So we do have our links here. So our ASB Coyote card, it's a student discount program. So this just provides some information about the ASB card, what it currently provides. So this just kind of goes in, like again, here it's $8 per semester. You can purchase it online through Insight CC, through the student tab, and then registration. And then just to note too, students, so like I said, the student ID card where you send your picture in, you get your card, that is separate from the ASB. That card is what Kim was talking about, where you can send your picture in, they'll print it out on a really beautiful card and send that to you. If you do decide to purchase the ASB Coyote card, it is a sticker that will then go on the ID. So there's just some information here about the Coyote card once you've purchased it, and just some of our benefits. So these, just note too, these are benefits for the 1920 year, so they are valid through the end of July. And we do have some discounted vendors in each area. So we have, just currently you can get a 10% discount at the Back Alley Bowl and Grill in Bishop. In Lake Isabella, we have a vendor there. And then in Ridgecrest and Inyokern, we have all of our local vendors. And then for anybody that's in Tehachapi, we have some vendors there as well. So it's just a nice discount card that can get you, you can get 10% off on a meal, 5% off here at Golden State Surplus. So it's a really neat program. You'll want to keep checking here if you do purchase the ASB Coyote card. As we move into the 2021 school year, if our vendors change, then you can come back here and see what our vendors are for utilizing that card. Okay, and just some quick notes too. Like I said, the Coyote card is free. It's valid for 2 years, and it should be carried at all times while you're on campus or if you're attending campus-sponsored activities. So it's just a nice card to keep in your wallet and have with you. And then, like I said, if you decide to purchase the actual, the ASB component, it's $8 per term. You are asked that question after you register for classes. So once you hit that blue complete registration button, you will have a pop-up that says, do you wish to purchase an optional ASB card? You can select yes or no, and then move on. If you click yes, that $8 charge will be added to your account. If you click no and you decide later on that you want to go back and get it, you can actually go back and get one later on. All right, so we have about 7 minutes left, so I want to make sure that everybody had their questions answered. So if anybody can think of any other questions, or if we didn't get to your question, please feel free to put that in the group chat. That way we can make sure all the questions are answered. Okay, so Ashley asked about the raffle. So one of the things I wanted this to come back here to our virtual open house, our page here. So there are daily prizes for attendance. You have a chance to win a Kindle Fire, Vankyo 10-inch tablet, or wireless headphones. And then they're also going to be giving out free backpacks as well. So one of the things here, if you have other sessions that you want to be registered for, definitely register for these specific sessions. If I have any staff members that have more detailed information, I'm not sure, Kim, if you have more detailed information on the raffle or how students can be entered, that would be great. Okay, so again, like I said, if anybody has questions for counseling, we are having a session this afternoon at 2. So from 2 to 3:30, we have our counselor and educational advisor from the ESCC, or Eastern Sierra campuses, that will be online. Tomorrow we have 3 wonderful presentations going on. So please register for as many sessions as you will find useful. And yeah, as Kim stated, so the names will be put into a randomizer and then they will contact the winners. So please register for sessions if you have, maybe if you're a parent of a high school student that you're interested in the concurrent dual enrollment program. We do have that informational session here. We also have our counseling and our career center that's going to be presenting tomorrow morning. So if you have questions on the career center or career coaching, we do have our amazing staff that's going to be hosting that. Yes, and thank you, Kim. She says that they will mail the prizes to the winners after all of the open house events. So please note the open house is going on all week. So each day we have different sessions in regards to all of our departments. And then too, if you guys have questions about registration, if you need to check your registration status and you just need some additional guidance, please feel free to contact the Admissions and Records Department, and we can certainly pull up your student account and see how we can assist you. If you are needing to meet with a counselor, even though the counselors are working remotely, please call the counseling department. And Austin, Lene, or Wendy can schedule an appointment for you. Again, the counseling phone number is 760-384-6219. They can set up an appointment with you, and you can meet with your counselor through a phone appointment, an email appointment, or a Zoom appointment. So if you're comfortable with using Zoom, again, it's through your webcam. You can do it online through your computer. There's also an app available in the Google Play Store if you have an Android, or if you have an Apple, in the Apple Store, Zoom is available. So if you prefer to use your meetings through your mobile device, we try to have as many options as we can available to you. So please, 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 please reach out if you have any questions, if you are encountering any issues or confusion. All of our staff members are here and ready to help you. All right, so we just have a couple more minutes. So I do have some of our staff members that are messaging too. Yes, and for any of our students that are using any veterans educational benefits, when you call the counseling department, be sure to let Austin, Lene, or Wendy know that you are using veterans benefits. That way we can be sure to set the right appointment up for you. And then you could also ask for Alfonso Guzman. Again, he's our veterans educational advisor. And that way we can get everything taken care of. If you're using the GI Bill, if you're using the CalVet fee waiver, we can make sure all that's taken care of for you. Thank you, Ashley. That was extremely kind of you. We appreciate all of our students' patience as we have been undergoing this change. with working from home or working remotely. We do appreciate everybody's patience and understanding as we're transitioning, and we are very, very thankful for all of you, all of our students, all of our staff that have adjusted with us. And we hope to be on campus soon. Just keep checking your student emails, keep checking the website. We are trying to post as much up-to-date information as we possibly can. So just make sure you are maintaining contact. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out, and we will get everybody, try to help out as much as we possibly can. All right, so that's about time. So I'm going to go ahead and end the session here. Again, quick shout out to all of my staff, all of the staff that are on the chat that have participated. We sincerely appreciate all of your help. Thank you for all the students that have joined us. Please be sure to register for sessions throughout the week and get all the information that you can. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. So I would hope everybody has an amazing day. Thank you all.